Let's talk today about the token economy. So for example, let's think about a commodities market. Perhaps this is a marketplace, perhaps trading cobalt. Now, this will start off as a business-to-business market, but may evolve into consumers and things, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the first thing we have to do is we have to onboard the various traders onto the marketplace. So it's going to be very useful if their credentials are available in a tokenized form that we can use to verify KYC and AML and onboard our businesses and in time consumers and things onto the marketplace. The second transaction will be when we now make an issue. So if we're selling cobalt, we'll issue a token which will represent a physical supply of cobalt. And at this point, it may be very useful to be able to prove the provenance of that cobalt. For example, it comes from an ethical source, which may be interesting for consumers if they can look at the battery in their thing, their phone or their car, and prove that it is bought from an ethical source. So the next thing that's going to happen once we've issued is we will have a trade where we'll have an atomic swap where we will be trading ownership in that token representing the cobalt with value, which could perhaps be in the form of a US dollar stablecoin. So the atomic swap can transfer value and ownership at the same time. And then finally, we will then burn that token when we get to the end of the life cycle and the cobalt is provided. Now, let's think about how the underlying mechanics of the marketplace may work. We may have a platform utility token, which is going to be used to reward service providers to validate transactions and to run nodes, to order and to create blocks. So as this is a democratic community, the members, for example, the businesses and perhaps the service providers, will vote perhaps on how this utility token is going to be minted and how it's going to be deployed, perhaps in terms of the price, if it's going to be perhaps a stablecoin-like, so it's going to be convertible into fiat, and as to whether the initial bootstrapping of the network will perhaps involve an airdrop as an extra incentive to drive adoption. But the service providers will be buying this token so that they therefore have the right to stake it, to get the right to provide services on the network. And then when we are looking to drive democratic value across the participants, we may use further incentives of this token to perhaps democratize the value. And perhaps if somebody is getting less value than somebody else, we may give them a token to incentivize them to collaborate and therefore make the pie bigger for everybody overall. Then when we're processing transactions, the utility token will be used to both collect fees from the members and then to reward the service providers by way of a fee fund. And then finally, if we're going to be using this token as a stablecoin, we may well need a bank to keep the value at a particular value compared to fiat. So this then is one way in which our token marketplace could operate. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video.